Welcome to Envisioned Broadcasting. Envisioned Broadcasting, the station designed to encourage, equip, and empower you for growth and success. An affiliate of Direct Impact Broadcasting and Creative Broadcasting, presenting the EmPower Hour with Jaresha, a show that shares the stories behind the journeys of leaders, influencers, and motivators. The EmPower Hour with Jaresha begins now.
Welcome, amazing people, to EmPower Hour with Jaresha. I am your host, Jaresha Moore. A little bit about myself: I am a best-selling author with over 18 years of combined experience in education, finance, business management, development, and sales. Owner and founder of EmPower on Purpose, LLC, where we provide leadership, training, as well as personal professional coaching and consulting services. Certified coach, speaker, and trainer with the John Maxwell team, and owner of Envisioned Broadcasting radio station. Today's empowerment quote is, and it simply states, if you are not willing to risk the unusual, you will have to settle for the ordinary. Now, you guys know I absolutely love quotes. This quote is truly all about how most of us are comfortable being in our comfort zone. The ones who achieve great things in life go through things that aren't comfortable for them. Yes, you may have pain, you may have obstacles, you're going to have to work hard, you're going to have to make changes, you will have to make sacrifices and trade-offs if you're wanting great things. You will always hear me say that we are created for greatness. But guess what? You don't get to just sit down and do nothing. You were created for greatness, and you have a job to do. Each one of you are gifted and have something to offer to the world. And staying in that comfort zone is not going to allow you to go to the next level or truly step into your greatness. If you stay in your comfort zone, you can't expect to achieve anything greater than what you've been doing. You know, I truly feel like I need to repeat this because I truly feel like some of you missed it. If you stay in your comfort zone, you can't expect to achieve anything greater than what you've been doing. What I need you guys to know is, I know there is some amazing people listening right now that's hearing this, but that's going to make a decision or have been making a decision to simply do nothing. There is someone that woke up this morning and let people, situations, circumstances, and fears control their behavior. You know, I recently purchased a subscription box for my daughters. And so it was all about empowerment, girl power, beauty, confidence in a box. So one day, the box, shows up, and of course my daughters are really, super excited. I know what's in the box. I know all the great things that's in this box. The box is filled with nothing but greatness. But just imagine if for one moment, once the box arrived, I told my daughters, okay, we're not going to open up the box. We know how, this box has tons of greatness inside of it, and it's filled with all kinds of fun and exciting and empowerment things, but we're just going to look at it. Both of my daughters, both of them, my 7-year-old and my 14-year-old, would have had no kind of understanding for a box full of greatness, but they can't open it and unpack all of the great things in the box. I need you guys to know that you are full of greatness, just like that subscription box that my daughters were so happy to open and willing to unpack and step out into, opening up some of the greatness, the great things in the box. We have to be willing to unpack and step into our greatness, just like I said, how my daughters were waiting to open up their box. Someone is waiting for you to let your greatness shine. There is someone today who has been dragging their feet on starting their business, writing that book, launching that course, starting your fitness challenge, and your why isn't big enough to put your what into action. Here's what I'm going to tell you. There is always going to be a risk attached to everything that you want in life. Start asking yourself questions and start with the why. Why do you want it? And pay attention to the emotion attached to it and how it makes you feel. So, for example, if you want to write a book, ask yourself, why is it important for you to write that book? Your response may be something like, you want to share your story with the world. Then ask yourself that why question again. Why do you want to share your story? I want you to dive so deep into your why that you start peeling back the layers that's going to help you empower yourself forward and out of your comfort zone. Then ask yourself, what action do you need to take to make it happen? And what obstacles do you need to overcome? Always remember that you will never grow if you lock yourself and stay inside that comfort zone. If you keep that greatness bottled up and boxed up, you will never grow. You have the power to unlock, to open, to unpack your greatness and step outside into your greatness and letting that shine. So what are you waiting for? Without delay, let me tell y'all about my amazing guest this evening. I'm so excited to have Brittney Bundles. Brittney Bundles is the founder and owner of Bad Chick Hair. Bad Chick Hair offers quality hair extensions and empowers people through entrepreneurship. Brittney offers mentoring to entrepreneurs along with many more business tools. Brittney has over 200,000 views via her YouTube channel. She has over 10 years of experience in customer service, corporate sales, and over 3 years of experience in the financial industry, where she worked as a loan officer. Brittney is skilled in teaching solutions that help strengthen financial stability while simultaneously growing community and business relationships. Welcome, Brittney. I'm so excited to have you on the show this evening. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm well. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. How are you?
I'm good. So I just want to, just dive right in. I just shared, of course, some of your amazing bio. And, please, share a little bit more about yourself if you could. And let's go right into talking more about your business and what your greatest passion is for the business that you do.
Sure, thank you. My name is Brittney Bundles, so thank you for the introduction. I enjoy empowering people through entrepreneurship. I constantly promote on my podcast, it's Brittney Bundles, as well as on my YouTube channel, how much power is actually behind entrepreneurship, how much power is in financial literacy, how much power is in community and networking. And so I am a person driven on my purpose. I love working in my passions, which is providing value in every aspect and every area in my life. And also making sure that I can help as many people as I possibly can be able to tap into their potential and their passions and find a way to ultimately monetize and capitalize off of the skills that God's blessed us with.
Absolutely, and that's truly amazing. So I talked a little bit, of course, about your business called Bad Chick Hair. Could you tell us a little bit more as far as how you actually started that business?
Yes, I started Bad Chick Hair in 2013, and I started a hair business because I enjoyed the versatility and creativity that hair extensions allowed me to express. That was kind of like my artistic side there. I liked being able to just change up my hair. If I wanted to wear pink hair one day, I could do it. If I wanted to wear 30 inches, I could do it. If I wanted to have a short style. And so it was something that was really fun. And I remember I was actually at work. I was working my 9 to 5 back then. And I loved sales. I was always in the sales industry. But it felt like I was kind of in a box. I wasn't able to really reach my full potential and be who I know I was called to be. And so I said, the only option that I see, being able to still support my family and live comfortably, is to be able to create another source of income. And so initially I started Bad Chick Hair as a way to create income and sell hair extensions, doing something that I love. So I'm like, okay, I can make money doing what I love. And then the longer that I stayed with Bad Chick Hair, I grew into who I am. I grew into my purpose. And Bad Chick Hair expanded to not only providing hair products and hair extensions, but also to be able to help others make money off of hair extensions as well. So I started offering a drop shipping option where I worked with, initially with majority women, to be able to create businesses where I would send out the hair on behalf of their company. So people that weren't able to buy hair in bulk, I wanted them to know that there's still hope and there was still an option to make money and support your family doing something you love, even if you don't have the spending power at that point. And then from there, it grew to women were able to buy their hair in bulk at that point from drop shipping. And I started offering wholesale options, and more people were signing up. So now it's not just women, but men are working with me as well. And I'm like, okay, instead of empowering women, I'm empowering people. And it just kind of grew to professional biography services and consultation services and public speaking events. And I'm really blessed. And I'm kind of in awe at some of the things that God is doing in my life. But it initially started off from my passion with loving hair. And I was able to incorporate my other passions and skills into the business as well. So Bachelor Care is like your one-stop shop for beauty, as well as entrepreneurial tools and resources.
That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. So I know you mentioned, of course, you can get the bundles of hair. What other type of products, maybe it's offered through that Chick Hair?
So we offer the bundles. We also offer closures and frontals at this point. We were offering wigs and lashes, but when COVID started, some things transitioned with some of the products that we were offering. So at this point, for the products, it does consist of the bundles, closures, and frontals.
Awesome. And, I want to ask, because I know that, of course, the beauty, the hair industry, of course, it is a growing and booming industry, and it has been for years. So what kind of advice or what would you, recommend for, one of the listeners that's listening saying, I would love to know how to actually get into the hair industry, the hair business? What kind of steps would you recommend that they take, or what is the process as far as how you work with those that are interested in the industry?
Just giving out general advice, the first tip that I would recommend is finding a reliable and reputable vendor. A lot of people that I work with have the mentality coming in that I'm looking for the cheapest vendor. I've had people that have come to me and they're like, hey, your rates are not the cheapest, then I'll go elsewhere. And I'm completely honest and transparent. I'm not trying to be the cheapest company. I don't want to offer the cheapest hair. That's not where my heart is. I want to provide the most value and offer the best quality that I can offer. And so that would be my first tip or a piece of advice, is to find a vendor that not only has the cheapest price, but actually has something that is going to help your business stay and maintain, and not just build customers, but recurring clients. And then also my second tip would be to make sure that you understand who you are in the industry. Like you mentioned, the industry is ever growing, and a lot of people say it's saturated. And to an extent, I may agree. However, what has helped me stay afloat is knowing who I am and being able to individualize my business from other businesses without necessarily, tearing anyone else down or taking anything away from other businesses. Just being able to build my client base based on my skills, services, and the value that I provide. That would be my second piece of advice, is making sure that you know who you are going into the industry. And then my third piece of advice is to drive based on the value and not the numbers. A lot of people that I work with, the first question that they ask is, when am I going to get my first sale? And I kind of laugh because it's literally almost the first question that I get. But the way that I approach it is I like to break down the fundamentals behind the business. So not just when can I get my first sale, or how many followers do you have on Instagram, or how many views did you get on YouTube, but how much value are you providing? And what type of value are you looking to provide? And are you actually getting people to your website that are interested in what you're offering? I use a lot of people also, when they're starting their business, whether they're in the hair industry or they're, in another industry, they're like, how can I get traffic to my website? And initially I was thinking that too when I first started my website, and I'm paying hundreds of dollars to Google ads and Facebook ads and this and that. And I was getting lots of people to my website, but I noticed that I wasn't getting too many sales. So it's like, yeah, I have 1,000 visitors this month, but, what's the good of that if there's no one that's really reaching out? I'm not able to build any relationships. I'm not able to sell any products. I'm not able to explain the value that I can offer. And so at that moment, I started to think of a different approach. So instead of me looking at how many numbers I can get and where, my first sale is coming from, I took it back to the fundamentals and basic building blocks of becoming an entrepreneur. So it's not just about getting people to me, just anybody, but it's, okay, how can I get my target audience to me? How can I make sure that I'm not just posting pictures about hair, but I'm actually showcasing the value that's behind my brand. And so it's a little bit challenging sometimes if you don't really know who you are, or if you're new to the industry and you're trying to find your way. But honestly, the way that I found my way is simply being me, being me and setting myself apart from everyone else, because we're all individual. We all have our own, gifts and talents. And once we can tap into that, no matter if you're selling hair, cars, or clothes, you'll be the best at being you. And so your business will thrive because of it as well.
Absolutely. And I know you mentioned, of course, your YouTube channel. Tell us a little bit more about your YouTube channel and how you inspire others.
I started my YouTube channels. I never thought that, I don't know. I don't know where I thought it was going to go initially. I started it about 1.5 years or 2 years ago. And my initial thought behind it was I wanted to be transparent with running a business, because I heard a lot of people on Facebook, in my real life, peers, just a lot of people, they had it, in my opinion, it was a false idea of what entrepreneurship truly was. It was all about, I'm getting the bag. I'm never taking any losses. I'm always coming up. And just being an entrepreneur myself, and when I opened my first brick and mortar location, I'm like, that's just not the case. Like, honestly, as long as you stay in business, you're bound to take a couple losses. Even though I'm taking the financial loss, there's still so much power in those losses because of the knowledge that I learned. And later on, I was able to capitalize off of that knowledge that I learned because of the losses that I took. But I wanted to start my YouTube channel to kind of document me opening my salon and me sharing and being transparent of the behind the scenes that go into running a business, so that I can show not so much the glitz and glamour of, having your own business and, taking pictures for Instagram, which is great. I'm not knocking anyone for doing that. But I wanted to give my side of the ups, the downs, the pivots of your business, the mindset that goes behind your business, and actually how to sell. And so that's what I started my YouTube channel doing. And I'm still doing it today. I enjoy doing it. And you said, how do I inspire others? I hope to inspire others through my journey and my experiences. Just through the knowledge that I've learned. There's so many people that have reached out and they're like, thank you for just being transparent. When I closed my salon, when I made that decision, it was a hard decision to make. And I just was very transparent on that video. And a lot of people, if you read the comments, there's just so many people like, thank you. You really saved me. This is how I'm feeling now, or this is, what I thought I would have felt like. And I was just honest. So I enjoy, hopefully I'm providing the inspiration that I hope I'm providing. But I hope to really teach and show the steps of becoming and maintaining entrepreneurship in its rawest form.
Absolutely. And, I would tell you that I definitely believe that just there is so much value in being transparent, especially as you mentioned, in today's world where, people are seeing, these YouTubers on, and they almost, in a sense, have an unrealistic view of, that it's so easy and you just put up a video and that's all it is to it. When we both know that it's more, to it than that, especially as far as being an entrepreneur and just all the hard work that goes into it. So if you had to think of one thing that you wish you would have known when, that when you started your business, what would that be?
I wish I would have gone in knowing to not expect support from everybody. I'll just be honest. When I first started my business, for me, I can't speak for anyone else, but I was thinking, I know for sure that everyone's going to be at my salon when it launches. I know for sure this is something that the city, I'm thinking I'm doing something pretty positive and pretty different. I know for sure I'm going to have everyone, behind me, the key to the city, so to speak. And when I started my salon and I opened those doors and I saw that it was not the case, and I appreciate the people that did support me. However, I just had a false idea of what entrepreneurship really was. And I thought I just only saw the positive aspects, so all the support and all of the likes and, the money, but I didn't really see a true, I hadn't lived it yet. So I would say that I would have gone into, even back in 2013 when I started my business, just knowing that, not really so much focused on the support or who's going to support me, who's not going to support me. I think that I wish that I would have focused more on my mission and what I was trying to get across, and saved a lot of the energy that I put into being upset, hurt, disappointed, and other people's actions and how they looked at my business and looked at me, and put all of that energy into being the best that I could be.
Absolutely. And I have to piggyback on that because I think that so many of, the entrepreneurs or those that maybe even be interested in going into to business, we jumped in and we definitely feel as though, my family's going to support me, my, such and such is going to support. And then at the end of the day, it does hurt. And I will tell you that I think every last entrepreneur that I've actually come across, business owner that I have talked to, I think we all share the same, that the person or the people that you thought was going to be there in your corner actually wasn't, so
yeah.
It is a hurting feeling. But again, I don't know that, even for myself looking back on it, I would have never seen that coming, to even try to prepare. So as you mentioned, yes, really staying focused on your mission and not allowing the fact that you're not going to have, the ones that you would think would support you, in your corner to break you or make you feel like, well, what am I, or maybe even question. Because I actually got to a point where I was looking at it like, well, maybe I need, I'm starting to question what I'm actually doing.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that some people are just, they don't have to share your same vision, your same mission. And I think so many of the entrepreneurs out there need to understand that, like, it is yours. Your mission is your mission. My mission is my mission. And it's okay. It's okay because, there are people out there that's going to support you. So, yeah, I think that's so good. So what would you say, just in looking over the course of, your business, what would you say has been the biggest challenge that you probably have faced so far?
My biggest challenge would have to be internal. I'm doing a whole segment on my podcast now, and it's the theme of it is when my mentality grew, so did my business. When my mentality changed, my business changed. And so I would have to say the biggest challenge is pushing myself past my fears. There are certain things that I need to do in order to push me to the next level. There are certain things that I need to do in order to fulfill my purpose and in order to bring my mission to reality. And, one of my fears was actually public speaking, believe it or not. I was so nervous to speak, whether it be on YouTube, in a public setting, on the phone. So this is an accomplishment for me just talking on your show, and I appreciate you having me. But that's one of my biggest challenges. Is I really had a fear of speaking. I had a fear of just putting myself out there, of networking, of meeting new people. And that was one of my biggest challenges. And I tell a lot of people when they ask me, they're like, I have the same fear. What do you do to get over your fears? And to be completely honest and transparent, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I have to work while I'm in my fear. And, I did my first large speaking event at a school or was filled with different students. And they were actually getting graded on the topic that I was talking about in relation to entrepreneurship. And I just remember my mouth getting so dry, and I'm like, I came too far to turn around now. I'm actually in front of them. But I was just like, man, I wish I could just poof and be somewhere else. But I was so nervous initially. And then when I got to talking and I started focusing on what my mission was and what I came to do, I'm not going to say the fear just completely went away, but I did have a sense of confidence. And I honestly have to give the credit to God. I just felt like I had it. I felt the confidence and the security. And I knew that I was in the right place at the right time. And so I did it. But that is my biggest challenge, just pushing myself past any of my fears.
That's good. So on the flip side of that, then, could you share what has been your biggest accomplishment?
I would say my biggest accomplishment was being able to transition my business from the salon and transition my business from being known as only a hair vendor to being able to have people reach out to me for consultations and people reach out to me for mentorship. And also, I published and wrote my first ebook this year. I'm super proud of myself for that, too. So I would say that those are my biggest accomplishments in business.
Absolutely. Could you share what is the name of your ebook?
Yes, it is Drop Shipping Now, Wholesale Later. It's a drop shipping guide for hair businesses.
Awesome. And, of course, at the end of the show, I would love for you to share some of the ways that all of the listeners can, actually get your ebook and stay in contact with you. But I know, so at the beginning of the show, of course, I went over the empowerment quote, which was, if you are not willing to risk the unusual, you will have to settle for the ordinary, by Jim Rohn. Could you share just a little bit as far as what this quote truly means to you?
I would say the bigger the risk, the greater the reward. However, just to break it down and make it a little bit more personable, what you mentioned in the beginning of the show was so true. I mean, a lot of times we limit ourselves from becoming our best selves because of whatever we're dealing with internally or whatever blocks we have in our minds. And honestly, if I was never willing to step outside of my norm, which was my 9 to 5, going to work and being secure with knowing that I'm getting a paycheck every week and just being okay with that, then I never would have been able to have the lifestyle that I have now. And I tell everyone, no, I'm not rich and I haven't just made it yet. However, we're rich in money. I think I'm rich in other things, but I would have never been able to do what I'm doing now. And so I definitely believe that if you're willing to risk, maybe feeling nervous or willing to risk pushing past some of your fears, or even sometimes it's a financial risk, depending on how you're investing in your business. But if you're willing to risk, then you have a chance at something different. You have a chance at prosperity.
Absolutely. And I love how you mentioned as far as just, stepping outside of the whole 9 to 5. In your experience, do you find as an entrepreneur you have more or less stress, working as an entrepreneur than working in the corporate world?
I think stress is going to be there regardless. It depends on how you manage it and your mentality behind it. However, I can say that the stress is different being an entrepreneur than working 9 to 5. Mm-hmm. My stress is working a 9 to 5 is, do I have enough vacation time to be able to spend time with my family, or do I have enough vacation time to be able to go to my child's recital or basketball game, or am I going to mess up where I'm going to just get fired? Can I be myself? Do I have to wear the right hairstyle, or will I look too outside of their box of what's acceptable? So those are the stresses that I dealt with in a 9 to 5. Now the stresses that I deal with through entrepreneurship is I'm not getting a consistent paycheck. So no one signs over my check. No one's saying this is how much you're guaranteed. And so there's a different balance and a different mindset that has to go behind, and also a different budgeting structure that has to go behind being an entrepreneur, understanding that this month can be great for me. I may gross the most I've made the whole year this month. However, next month may not be the same way. And so I talk a lot on my YouTube channel, on my podcast, about making sure that we're setting up multiple streams, and not just that we're making money, but that we're actually building wealth. There's a difference. And so I don't think that the stresses go away becoming an entrepreneur. I just think that there's a different stress depending on, where you're at in your life.
Absolutely. And I completely agree with you on the fact that, of course, in the entrepreneur world, I think it just opens up a whole nother world of, depending on where you're at, what's going on. You have a lot of, the listeners that are still very much in both, and, in that 9 to 5 as well as in that, in the entrepreneur world. And like you say, you're going to have stresses on both sides of it. It's just a matter of finding that balance, and, truly to me, having a team that's going to help you from the entrepreneur side so you don't feel stressed. One of the things that, I really wish I had recognized early on before I started my business is how important a team is. My goodness, having that team, that team that's going to support you so that you don't feel like you have to wear all these different hats, truly would have been, an eye-opener for me and a game changer early on. But I want to talk a little bit more, as far as just thinking along the stress lines, because, of course, we're dealing with COVID-19 and having, a lot of entrepreneurs that are probably out there even, stressed even more because of all of the changes and, with COVID-19 crisis. We know that everyone has been impacted in some kind of way. Could you share just a little bit how you have been impacted by COVID-19, you and your business?
Yes. Actually, when COVID-19 first came and it first affected my business, I remember making a video on YouTube just kind of going over some of the thoughts that I had as an entrepreneur, because I'll be lying if I say that I wasn't worried. I noticed that my hair wasn't selling as much as it typically did. And I'm like, okay, all right, let's not get too nervous, but it's something to look at. It caught my eye. And I noticed that my dropshipping memberships, because dropshipping memberships are typically bought, they are bought by people that are looking to get in the hair industry and sell hair. And so a lot of people weren't buying dropshipping memberships. A lot of people were not buying hair in bulk. And so the products that I I was relying on, I couldn't rely on it anymore. It was a time before the stimulus came, before unemployment came. People just weren't, buying anything. From I can say from my experience, from my website, and that really challenged me. But I thank God for the experience that I went through, because during that time I had to think to myself, well, Brittney, you still have bills to pay, you still have children to feed, and you still have a purpose and a mission, and you still have value that can help other people. So although you may not be able to share the value through your hair extensions at this point, what other gifts has God blessed you with? And so I began to tie more of my passion, more of the skills that God blessed me with into my business. And so I started writing my ebook, and I produced that during COVID. And I also created a video on YouTube, and I was transparent with my sales, how much I made. I can definitely say that I faced a decline in my sales, but I also was able to overcome that decline when I started to tap inside of my gifts and apply that to my business as well. And I really think that was a lesson that God was trying to teach me, that he actually taught me that, you don't need to depend on anything, but ultimately depend on me. I've got you. And, I began praying. I began tuning into my grandmother's. She has a prayer call every weekend. And I just started getting myself back aligned. And I really felt bad. I had to even get closer to God, because I said, for so long, sometimes when you're an entrepreneur, you can get wrapped up in that lifestyle, wrapped up in just constantly working, wrapped up in constantly making sure that you're getting out your mission, that a lot of things can become, not your top priority. So I wasn't talking to God as much as I needed to talk to him. And during COVID, it just kind of opened my eyes to a lot of things that I wasn't doing. And when I strengthened my relationship with God, I was able to change my mindset. When I changed my mindset, I was able to clearly see the gifts that God had right in front of me. I was able to see how I could plug that into my business, and I was able to still stay afloat by the grace of God.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that is so good, because, one of the things that, I can just speak for on, within my own personal and business side with COVID is, of course, initially when everything, kind of hit the roof, it was a lot of worry. It was concern. It was, fear. And again, there's no way I would even be on the show saying that I didn't have that and experience that, because it was very much there. But yeah, as you mentioned, just having that deeper connection and, really getting a little more spiritual and really, getting focused and sitting down and reevaluating everything and saying, okay, what is it that I need to be really focused on? And, I had to get to a point where I said, okay, I'm no longer watching the news. I'm going to tune in once, but I'm not going to have all these alerts going up, because that I really felt like that was feeding that stress, that was feeding the fear and everything else. But one of the things that, we truly strive to actually do on this show is to give listeners just advice or tips on how they can truly empower their own growth and success journey. So could you share with the listeners just how, if you had to give one piece or a couple of different tips on how they could empower their own growth and success journey, what would that be?
The first tip that I would give anyone is to learn who you are. The podcast episode that I was working on today is right around that. It's about that. A lot of people that I work with, I've realized, don't really know who they are. I'll ask questions and I'll say, okay, well, let's start from the beginning. Let's start from the fundamentals and the building blocks of your business. What are your goals? What do you want to happen? What kind of things do you enjoy doing, so we can tie that into you selling hair extensions as well? And a lot of people are saying, I don't know. I don't know what I like to do. I've been a mother for so long, and I'm a mother too, so I can relate that I don't know. I haven't really focused on what I like to do. Or I've been giving back to this organization or this cause for so long, or I've been working and devoted to my job for so long that pretty much outside of that, I don't know what I enjoy doing. So the first step that I would recommend is, figure out who you are. And then after that, then start experimenting with the gifts that God blessed you with. And the way that I find what gifts I have is by doing things that I truly love. So I love being able to help people. And so I thought initially when I went into bariatric care that, okay, this is my way to help. There's a lot of people that are experiencing different health issues that are needing extensions or wanting extensions. There are a lot of people that want to be able to express their creative side, want to be able to treat or pamper themselves, and that's the way that they choose to do it. And so initially that's what I thought that, that's pretty much capped my skills and capped my growth. And really when I expanded my thinking and my heart, and I tapped into who I was able to find out, really what else I like doing, and being able to tie that into bad chick hair. So that would be my second tip, is being comfortable and being okay with experimenting with the things that you like to do. I mean, hey, you may like to do something that you have been scared to do all your life. Maybe you want to open up a store and you're like, I don't know, you're second guessing it too much. I just say go for it. Think about it. Make sure that you have a backup plan. I don't recommend you spending your last dime. That's the financial advisor, kind of coming out at me. I don't recommend you spending everything into your business to an extent where you don't know what you're going to eat tomorrow. However, like you mentioned a little bit ago, sometimes you have to risk some things. And so whether it's some money that you've been saving and putting aside, you may want to say, okay, hey, I'm going to take a little bit of my money and see what I can do to actually live out my dream and fulfill my purpose. So that would be my second tip. And my third tip is to know that you have one life to live. If you don't go for it, you just don't go for it. There's no redos in this life. And so I want to make sure when it's my time to go that I live a fulfilled life, that I'm able to sit back and say, you know what, God, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. I did what I came to do, and I served you, and I was able to live a fulfilling life doing what you wanted me to do, and what it made me happy as well through the skills and gifts that you gave me, and go out that way. So I would say also, just in a nutshell, be you and tap into the gifts and skills that you have, and you can be afraid, but learn how to work in your fear to get you to the life or the next level that you're looking to get to.
Those are great. Those are really, really, really great tips. Thank you so much for sharing those tips. So I know you mentioned that, of course, you have the ebook. Could you mention any other things that you have coming up on the horizon that you may want to share with the listeners? And at this time, if you can share actually more information on how to get your ebook as well.
Yes, my ebook is available on my website, which is badchickhair.com. Also, I started a podcast about a month and a half ago. And it's empowering people through entrepreneurship. I go over my different life journeys and then the transition from my mindset and just my walk with God, and in relation how that can really correlate with your business and how that's helped with the success of my business, to be honest. My podcast is on Anchor and Spotify, and that's Brittney Bundles. Also, I am working on different sales courses, because I find when I'm working with other people that part of entrepreneurship that I think is missing and not touched on too often is how to sell. How do you sell? Because there is a way to sell, and there is a way to build relationships with your clients, and it's more than just getting a website, getting some products, and posting on social media, which is now pretty much what's broadcasted and advertised. But there's more than that, unless you just have a huge amount of following and you can post anything, such as socks, and just get all of the sales immediately. And if you can, then power to you. But for the majority of us, it's more than that. So I'll be dropping some courses later on. It'll be on my website, badchickhair.com, to actually teach the fundamentals of how to sell.
And how can everyone stay connected with you? So some of your social media handles, and you can mention your YouTube channel as well.
Thank you. Okay, so on Instagram, my Instagram is Brittney _Bundles. You can also follow me on Instagram at badchickhair. I'm on Facebook at Brittney Bundles and Bad Chick Hair as well. And then my YouTube is Brittney Bundles. So if you look for Brittney Bundles or Bad Chick Hair, more than likely you'll find me. You can also email me. My email address is the letter B, and then it's talks, TALKS, @yahoo.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much. This has been absolutely amazing. I will tell you that you have definitely shared some amazing tips. And I truly hope that all of the listeners will, go to your website and follow you as well on all of the social media platforms. And if they're interested in, of course, learning more as far as your, some of the programs and products that you offer, they'll definitely connect with you. So I just want to really just take the time to say thank you so much for, coming on the show as a guest and sharing your story, your journey. I've had an absolute blast, and I thank you so much.
My pleasure. And thank you so much for sharing your platform and also allowing me to share my experiences and my journey as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, listeners, thank you so much for tuning in tonight's show with our special guest, Brittney Bundles, Brittney shared her amazing story and journey to encourage, equip, and empower you for growth and success. If you are interested in being a guest on the show, starting your own radio show or low-cost advertising, highlighting your book, business, or events, please email EnvisionedB, that's EnvisionedB, at EmPoweronPurpose.com. Please tune in next week where you will hear an amazing story and journey from another leader, influencer, and motivator. Until next time, be blessed.
Thank you for listening to the EmPower Hour with Jaresha, where Jaresha speaks with leaders, influencers, and motivators who share their journeys in personal and professional growth, empowerment tips, lessons learned, and keys of success that will empower you to be your best self. Follow Jaresha on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jaresha Moore, and visit EmPoweronPurpose.com. And remember to be intentional and be empowered, and have a great day on purpose.